Tonight, we are going to build a fortress. It will not be a fortress of stone, though we will visit the marble columns of Athens. It will not be a fortress of iron, though we will see the armor of Rome. It will be a fortress of the mind, an inner citadel. We are going to tell the story of Stoicism. It is a philosophy that was born in a shipwreck and ended on a throne. It is a way of thinking designed for the hard times, for the chaotic times, and for the sleepless times. It teaches us one simple, profound truth. We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. The storm is blowing outside your window right now. The rain is beating against the glass. The world is noisy and unpredictable. But in here, the air is still. You are safe. You are warm. Let us go back to the beginning. Let us go back to the moment before the philosophy existed. Chapter 1. The purple dye. We are traveling to the eastern edge of the Mediterranean Sea, to the island of Cyprus. It is the year 300 BC. The sun is hot. The light is blindingly bright, reflecting off the white limestone houses and the turquoise water. The air smells of salt, dried oregano, and the resin of cypress trees. We are standing on the docks of the city of Citium. The harbor is busy. Wooden ships are bobbing in the water. Sailors are shouting in Greek, Phoenician, and Egyptian. We are watching a man. His name is Zeno. He is not a philosopher yet. He is not a teacher. He is a merchant. And he is a very wealthy man. He is the son of a merchant, raised in the tradition of trade. He understands the language of value. He understands the weight of gold and the rate of exchange. He is supervising the loading of his ship. Let us look at the cargo. It is not grain. It is not timber. It is something much more precious. It is purple dye, Tyrian purple. To understand the magnitude of Zeno's loss, we must understand the value of this substance. In the ancient world, purple was not just a color. It was a miracle. It was the color of royalty. It was the color of the gods. It was worth more than its weight in gold. It came from a sea snail, the murex. Imagine the labor required to create this cargo. Fishermen had to catch thousands of these snails in traps baited with rotting fish. They had to crush the shells. They had to extract a tiny gland from the creature. They put the glands in lead vats filled with salt water. They boiled them for 10 days. The smell was horrific. It smelled of rotting garlic and the sea. The dye works were always located far outside the city walls because of the stench. But the result was magic. When the liquid was exposed to the sun, it changed color. It went from yellow to green to blue, and finally to a deep, reddish purple. Clotted blood. That was the description. A color so deep you could fall into it. It did not fade. It only got brighter with age. Zeno has loaded his ship with this treasure. Crates and amphorae filled with the concentrated dye. This is his inheritance. This is his future. This is his security. He steps onto the ship. It is a Phoenician trading vessel, broad-beamed, a single square sail dyed red, an eye painted on the prow to guide it through the waves. The ropes are cast off. The ship moves away from the dock. Zeno stands at the stern. He watches the island of Cyprus fade into the heat haze. He is confident. He is going to Athens. He is going to Piraeus, the greatest port in the world. He will sell his dye. He will become even richer. He believes he is in control. He believes that because he has planned the route will be followed. He believes that because he has hired a good captain, the ship will be safe. He is suffering from the delusion that we all suffer from. The delusion that the future belongs to us. The ship sails west. For days, the voyage is calm. The Mediterranean is a flat blue plate. The dolphins play in the wake. The stars wheel overhead at night. guiding them toward Greece. But the sea is the original chaos. The sea is the variable. A storm rises. It does not announce itself. It simply appears. The sky turns the color of a bruised plum. The wind shifts. The waves begin to build. We will not dwell on the violence of the storm. We are here to sleep, not to panic. We will view it from a distance, like a painting of a seascape. The ship is small. The ocean is large. The wooden hull groans. The mast cracks. The sail rips. Zeno watches. He sees his crates, the precious purple dye, slide across the deck. He sees the rail give way. He sees his fortune fall into the water, the amphorae break. The purple liquid spills into the dark grey sea. It swirls for a moment, a cloud of royal colour, and then it is gone, diluted by the infinite ocean, the work of 1,000 fishermen, the wealth of a family, vanished in a heartbeat. The ship breaks apart. Zeno is thrown into the water. He grabs a piece of timber. He floats. He is not an emperor now. He is not a merchant. He is just a man, wet, cold, alone. The storm passes. The waves push him toward the shore. He washes up on the coast of Attica, near the port of Piraeus. He crawls onto the sand. He coughs up the salt water. He lies there for a long time. He feels the solid earth beneath him. He feels the sun beginning to warm his back. He stands up. He looks down at himself. His fine robes are torn. His sandals are lost. His hands are empty. Yesterday, he was a man of substance. Today, he is a beggar. He walks toward Athens. It is a long walk. As he walks, the salt dries on his skin. He has a choice. This is the moment where the philosophy begins. He can scream at the gods. He can tear his hair. He can spend the rest of his life bitter, talking about what he lost. He can define himself by the shipwreck, or he can accept it. He walks through the gates of Athens. The city is bustling. Philosophers are arguing in the square. Merchants are selling olives. Zeno wanders into a bookshop. He needs to sit down. He is exhausted. He picks up a scroll. It is a book by Xenophon, The Memorabilia. It is a book about Socrates. He begins to read. He reads about a man, Socrates, who walked these same streets 100 years ago. A man who owned nothing, but possessed everything. A man who cared nothing for purple dye or gold, but cared only for the state of his soul. Zeno reads. And as he reads, the panic of the shipwreck fades. He realizes something profound. The shipwreck did not take away his character. It did not take away his mind. It only took away his externals. The dye was external. The ship was external. Even his body is external. It is just a vessel. But the ruling center, the mind, is untouched. He looks up at the bookseller. His eyes are bright. "Where can I find men like this?" he asks. "Where are the men who live like Socrates?" Just then, a man walks past the shop door. He is ugly. He is dirty. He wears a rough woolen cloak. He carries a beggar's staff. The bookseller points. "Follow that man." The man is Crates of Thebes. He is a cynic philosopher. The cynics were the radicals of the ancient world. They believed that civilization was a trap. They believed that money, fame, and reputation were chains. They lived like dogs. The word cynic comes from kinos, meaning dog. Zeno follows him. He becomes his student. It is a shock to the system. Zeno is used to luxury. He is used to respect. Now, he is following a man who sleeps in the street. There is a famous story about Zeno's training. It is a lesson in shame. Zeno was a shy man. He cared about what people thought of him. He was embarrassed to be seen with the dirty philosopher. Crates noticed this. He wanted to break Zeno's pride. One day, Crates gave Zeno a pot of lentil soup to carry through the crowded marketplace. The pot was heavy. It was unsealed. It was a clumsy, undignified thing for a grown man to carry. Zeno tried to hide the pot under his cloak. He walked quickly, hoping no one would see him. Cleanthes saw him hiding it. He took his staff and smashed the pot. Crash! The clay shattered. The thick lentil soup splashed all over Zeno's legs. It ran down his tunic. It covered his feet. The crowd laughed. Zeno was mortified. He turned to run away. Cleanthes called out after him, "Why are you running, my little Phoenician? Nothing terrible has happened to you. Nothing terrible has happened to you. It was just soup. It was just a stained tunic. It was just the laughter of strangers." None of it hurt his soul. Zeno stopped running. He realized that his embarrassment was a choice. The crowd could not hurt him. Only his opinion of the crowd could hurt him. This was the second shipwreck. The shipwreck of his dignity. And he survived that too. He studied with the cynics. He studied with the academics. He learned logic. He learned physics. And eventually, he began to teach. But he did not build a school. He did not rent a hall. He did not charge money. He simply walked to the marketplace in Athens, to the north side of the agora. There was a structure there, a long covered colonnade, a porch. It was called the Stoa Poikile, the Painted Porch. It was a public space. It was built to protect people from the sun and the rain. One wall was painted with famous murals of battles, but the other side was open to the city. Zeno stood on the porch. He leaned against a column, and he began to talk. He talked about the Logos, the rational force that guides the universe. He told the people gathering around him, the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature. Nature is a river. It flows. Sometimes it flows calmly. Sometimes it floods. Sometimes it dries up. Most people fight the river. They try to swim upstream. They scream at the water. They drown in their own resistance. But the wise man, the Stoic, floats. He keeps his head above water. He looks around. He navigates the current. He accepts the flow. Zeno looked out from the painted porch. He saw the busy people of Athens rushing around. He saw a merchant worrying about his ship. He remembered that worry. He saw a politician worrying about an election. He saw a lover worrying about rejection. He saw that they were all slaves. They were slaves to fortune. They were slaves to things they could not control. If your happiness depends on a ship arriving, you are a slave to the wind. If your happiness depends on winning an election, you are a slave to the voters. If your happiness depends on your body not getting sick, you are a slave to biology. But if your happiness depends only on your own character, on your own virtue, then you are free. You are invincible. The wind can sink the ship, but it cannot sink your virtue. The voters can reject you, but they cannot make you a bad person. The sickness can take your body, but it cannot touch your mind. This was the Inner Citadel. Zeno taught on the porch for 40 years. His followers were called the men of the Stoa, the Stoics. They were not unfeeling statues. That is a misunderstanding. They felt pain. They felt grief. They felt fear. But they did not assent to it. They felt the initial shock, the proto-passion. But then they used their reason. Imagine Zeno standing on the porch in the rain. The rain falls on his skin. It is cold. His body says, "This is bad. I am cold." But his mind says, "No, this is just rain. Rain is necessary for the crops. It is natural. I can endure it." He reframes the experience. He takes the sting out of the reality. He died an old man. He died as he lived, with calm acceptance. The story goes that as he was leaving the Stoa one day, he tripped and broke his toe. He hit the ground. It hurt. He struck the earth with his hand and quoted a line of poetry. I come, why do you call for me? He accepted that his time was done. He did not fight the end. This is the foundation of the fortress. The realization that you are not the director of the play. You are an actor. You did not choose the script. You did not choose the costume. You did not choose the other actors. You might be cast as a king. You might be cast as a beggar. You might be cast as a merchant who loses his ship. You cannot control the role, but you can control how you play it. You can play the beggar with dignity. You can play the king with humility. That is your only job, to play the role well. The rest is up to the logos. Let us return to the atmosphere of the Stoa. Imagine you are standing there with Zeno. It is late afternoon in Athens. The shadows of the columns are stretching out across the floor. The painted porch protects you. On one side is the painted wall, the history of the past. On the other side is the open city, the chaos of the present. You are in the middle, in the shelter. You listen to the murmur of the city, but it is distant. It is just noise. You look at the clouds moving across the Acropolis. They are drifting, changing shape, forming and dissolving. They do not worry about their shape. They just are. You are like the cloud. You are like the water. You have built a wall around your mind. Not a wall to keep people out, but a wall to keep peace in. Inside the wall, the water is still. The shipwreck is over. The storm has passed. You are not drowning. You are floating. You have nothing to lose, because you own nothing but yourself. And you have yourself. You have your breath. You have this moment. That is enough. The purple dye is gone. The gold is gone. But the peace remains. Let the image of the porch fade. Let the sound of the Greek voices fade. Return to the sound of the rain on your own window. It is the same rain. It is the same nature. You are safe in your own citadel. The gates are locked. The bridge is drawn up. The world cannot touch you here. You are the master of this space. Rest in the fortress. Sleep. Chapter 2. The Painted Porch. The shipwreck is over. The storm that destroyed Zeno's fortune has faded into a memory, just another ripple on the surface of the Mediterranean. Zeno is no longer the soaking wet refugee washing up on the sand. He is no longer the desperate merchant counting his lost coins. He has become a citizen of Athens, not by birth, but by spirit. We are walking through the city of Athens in the year 300 BC. It is the height of the day. The sun is blazing down on the white limestone streets. The air is thick with the dust of summer, smelling of dried olive leaves, hot stone, and the faint, salty tang of the distant sea. The city is noisy. In the marketplace, the agora, the world is shouting. Fishmongers are haggling over the price of eels from Lake Copes. Politicians are arguing near the council house. Money changers are clinking drachmas on their tables. It is a chaotic swirl of desire, fear, and ambition. Everyone wants something. Everyone is running somewhere. But we are not looking for the noise. We are looking for the silence, in the center of the noise. We walk to the northern edge of the agora. There stands a structure. It is not a temple. It is not a government building. It is a simple, elegant architectural feature common to Greek cities. It is a stoa. A stoa is a covered walkway, a colonnade. Imagine a long, rectangular building. The back wall is solid stone, protecting you from the north wind. The roof is tiled with terracotta, protecting you from the sun and the rain. The front is open, lined with a row of Doric columns that allow the light and the air to enter. This specific stoa is famous. It is called the Stoa Poikile, the Painted Porch. It gets its name from the murals on the back wall. Hundreds of years ago, great artists painted scenes of history and myth here. They painted the fall of Troy. They painted the Battle of Marathon. But now, the paint is peeling. The colors are fading. The great heroes of the past are becoming ghosts on the plaster. Time is slowly erasing the glory of Athens. This is where Zeno chooses to stand. Unlike other philosophers, he does not hide. Plato taught in the academy, a grove of olive trees far outside the city walls, secluded and private. Aristotle taught in the Lyceum, a gymnasium for the elite. Epicurus taught in his walled garden, shut off from the public. But Zeno chooses the porch. He chooses to stand right on the edge of the market. He puts no wall between himself and the world. He stands in the shade of the columns, watching the city pass by. Let us stand there with him. Step out of the glare of the sun and into the cool shadow of the roof. The temperature drops instantly. The noise of the market is slightly muffled by the acoustics of the stone. Zeno is leaning against a column. He is a tall man, thin and swarthy. He is not handsome in the classical sense. His neck is crooked. His legs are thick. He looks like what he is, a foreigner, a man who has worked for a living. He begins to speak. He does not shout. He speaks quietly. People have to stop and lean in to hear him. He is pacing back and forth. Step, step, turn, step, step, turn. This pacing becomes the rhythm of the school, the rhythm of thought. He is teaching a new way of looking at the universe. He tells his students that the world is not a collection of random accidents. It is not a mess. It is an organism. He calls it the cosmos, a word that means order. He says that the entire universe, the stars, the earth, the trees, the people, is a single living thing. It is breathing, it is growing, it is changing. And holding it all together is a force he calls the logos, reason, the word, the plan. Imagine a fire, not a destructive fire that burns a house down, but a creative fire, a warm, glowing energy that shapes matter into life. Zeno says that God is not a man sitting on a mountain. God is this fire. God is the logos. God is nature itself. You are a spark of that fire. The dog sleeping in the shade is a spark of that fire. The tree growing through the stones is a spark of that fire. We are all parts of the same whole. The students listen. They lean against the painted wall. They watch the dust motes dancing in the shafts of sunlight that fall between the columns. Zeno breaks philosophy down into 3 parts. He loves metaphors. He wants his students to visualize the system. He says philosophy is like an egg. The shell is logic. It is hard. It is protective. It gives the egg its shape. Without logic, without knowing how to think clearly, how to spot a lie, how to construct an argument, the contents would spill out and be lost. You must have a hard shell of reason to survive in the world. The white is physics. This is not just math. In the ancient world, physics meant the study of nature, the study of the gods, the stars, the weather, the atoms. It is the substance of the universe. It surrounds and feeds the center. The yolk is ethics. This is the prize, the golden center, the living part. Ethics is how you live, how you treat your neighbor, how you handle anger, how you face death. Logic protects physics, and physics feeds ethics. Or, he says, philosophy is like a garden. Logic is the fence that keeps out the wild animals. Physics is the soil and the trees. Ethics is the fruit. The goal of the garden is the fruit. You don't build a fence just to have a fence. You build it to protect the harvest. And what is the harvest? What is the goal of Stoicism? It is eudaimonia. This is often translated as happiness, but that is too light a word. Happiness is fleeting. Happiness is eating a fig or hearing a joke. Eudaimonia is flourishing. It is a deep, steady river of well-being. It is the feeling of a life that is flowing smoothly. Zeno looks out at the market. He points to a man running past the stoa, sweating, anxious, clutching a bag of coins. That man, Zeno says, is not flowing. He is fighting the current. He is staking his happiness on something he cannot control. He is staking it on indifference. This is the core of the teaching on the porch. There are things that are good, virtue, wisdom, courage. There are things that are bad, vice, ignorance, cowardice. And then there is everything else: money, health, reputation, sickness, poverty, fame. These things, Zeno says, are indifferent. They are not good or bad. They are just the material of life. Money is not good. It can be used to hire an assassin or to build a hospital. It is neutral. Sickness is not bad. It is just a process of the body. You can be sick and still be a good person. You can be sick and still be brave. The anxiety of the crowd comes from confusing these things. They think money is good, so they fear poverty as bad. They think fame is good, so they fear obscurity as bad. Zeno says, stop. Look at the shadow of the column on the floor. It moves. The sun dictates where it goes. The column cannot tell the shadow to stop. We are like the shadow. We move where the Logos tells us to move. If the Logos brings you wealth, accept it. Use it well. If the Logos brings you poverty, accept it. Wear it well. Do not attach your soul to the externals. The students nod. It sounds simple, but it is the hardest thing in the world to practice. The afternoon wears on. The sun begins to lower. The light in the stoa turns golden. The crowd in the market begins to thin out. The shouting fades. Zeno is tired. He is not a young man anymore. He has been teaching on this porch for decades. He looks at his favorite student, a man named Cleanthes. Cleanthes is different from the others. He is huge. He has the neck of a bull and the hands of a laborer. He was once a boxer. He arrived in Athens with nothing. He sits in the front row, listening with an intensity that is almost frightening. He writes down Zeno's words on shoulder blades of oxen because he cannot afford paper. The other students make fun of him. They call him the ass. They say he is slow. They say he is stubborn. Zeno defends him. He may be an ass, Zeno says, but he is the only one strong enough to carry the load I am putting on him. Zeno knows Cleanthes' secret. He knows what Cleanthes does when the sun goes down. Let us follow Cleanthes as the class ends. The students disperse. Some go to taverns. Some go to their comfortable homes. Cleanthes tightens his cloak. He walks out of the city gates. He walks to the public gardens. He is the water carrier. He works the night shift. He spends the entire night drawing water from a deep well and carrying it to the cisterns to water the vegetables of Athens. Imagine the sound of the work, the squeak of the wooden pulley. E-ur, e-ur. The slap of the wet rope in his hands, the splash of the bucket hitting the dark water far below. He pulls, hand over hand, lifting the heavy weight. He pours, the sound of water rushing into the trough. Splosh. He walks, step, step, step. He does this for hours. His back aches. His hands are raw, but he is happy. This is the Stoic laboratory. On the painted porch, philosophy is words. Here, in the dark garden, philosophy is action. Cleanthes is proving that the body can be a servant, but the mind remains a king. He is not thinking about how hard the work is. He is not wishing he was rich. He is meditating on the lessons of Zeno. He recites the logic to the rhythm of the bucket. If it is not up to me, It is nothing to me. Pull. If it is not up to me, it is nothing to me. Pour. He looks up at the stars, the same stars that Zeno says are the eyes of God. He feels a connection to the Logos. The water he carries feeds the plants feed the city feeds the philosopher. It is all one system. He is playing his part. He is the hands of the universe in this garden. When dawn comes, he washes the dirt from his hands. He walks back to the Stoa. He stands there, ready for another day of thinking. He proved that you do not need leisure to be wise. You do not need a soft bed. You only need a strong mind. Back at the Stoa, the years pass. Zeno grows old. He becomes a fixture of the city, like the statues of the gods. The Athenians honor him. They give him the keys to the city walls because they trust him more than anyone else. He is the man who cannot be corrupted. One day, Zeno is leaving the porch. It is dusk. The shadows are long. The air is cooling. He steps off the stone platform. He trips. He falls. He hits the ground hard. He feels a sharp pain in his toe. A bone breaks. He lies there in the dirt. Most men would curse. Most men would cry out for help. Most men would say, "Why me? Why now?" But Zeno strikes the ground with his hand. He smiles. He quotes a line from a poet named Timotheus. I come. Why do you call for me?" He realizes that this is the signal. The Logos is calling him home. The role is finished. He does not fight it. He accepts the end of the play. He died shortly after. A peaceful death. A death without fear. The Painted Porch was empty for a time. But the philosophy did not die. Cleanthes stepped forward. The water carrier took the place of the merchant. He stood by the same column. He looked out at the same marketplace. He taught the students that the Stoa was not a place of stone, but a place of spirit. The Stoa Poikile is gone now. If you go to Athens today, you will find only a few broken foundation stones covered in weeds. The paintings have turned to dust. The roof has collapsed. The noise of the modern city, the cars, the tourists, has drowned out the voice of Zeno. But the inner Stoa remains. Imagine building the painted porch inside your own mind. Tonight, as you lie in bed, construct it. Lay the foundation. White limestone, solid, unshakable. This is your reason. Raise the columns, tall and straight. This is your discipline. Build the roof, tiled and thick. This is your protection. Paint the walls with your memories, but look at them as if they are just paintings. They are in the past. They cannot hurt you. Step inside the porch, feel the shade. Outside, the rain is falling. Outside, the world is rushing and shouting. But inside the porch, it is cool. It is dry. You can lean against the column. You can watch the thoughts pass by like the crowd in the agora. There goes a worry about tomorrow. Watch it pass. It is just a person in the crowd. It will keep walking. There goes a regret about yesterday. Watch it pass. There goes a fear. Watch it pass. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to stop them. You just stand on the porch. Zeno is there. Cleanthes is there. They are silent. They are content. They know that the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. The sun rises and sets. The water flows. The seasons change. And you sleep. It is the most natural thing in the world. Your body knows how to do it. You do not need to force it. Just let the roof protect you. Let the columns hold you up. You are safe in the Stoa. The lesson is over. The day is done. The scroll is rolled up. The water carrier has put down his buckets. The merchant has accepted the loss. There is nothing left to carry. Rest in the shade. Rest in the wisdom. Sleep. Chapter 3. The Hymn and the Knot. Zeno has left the porch. The founder has returned to the earth. The school of Stoicism is no longer a new idea. It is an established presence in Athens. It has roots. Now, we must tend those roots. We are staying in Athens, but the season has changed. It is autumn. The leaves of the plane trees are turning brown and brittle, skittering across the stone floors of the agora. The wind coming off the Aegean Sea carries a chill. We are looking for the new leader of the school, Cleanthes. We met him briefly before, the strong man in the back of the class. But tonight, we are going to spend the night with him. We are going to witness the endurance that defines the philosophy. It is midnight. The city is asleep. The owls are hunting in the Parthenon. Cleanthes is not sleeping. He is walking. He is walking the 3 miles from the city gates to the public gardens. He wears a rough woolen cloak that scratches his skin, but he does not mind. The sensation reminds him he is alive. He arrives at the well. This is the rhythm of his life. For 30 years, while others slept, he worked. He picks up the yoke. He lowers the bucket. Creak, splash, he pulls. There is a specific meditation in drawing water. It is a cycle. Empty, full, empty, full. Cleanthes used this time to compose his masterpiece. He did not write it on paper. He wrote it in his mind, chanting the verses to the rhythm of the rope. It is called the hymn to Zeus. It is not a prayer asking for things. He does not ask for money. He does not ask for health. He asks for understanding. Imagine him standing there, the heavy buckets balancing on his shoulders, looking up at the stars. He recites the lines into the darkness. Lead me, O Zeus, and thou, O destiny, the way that I am bid by you to go, to follow. I am ready. If I choose not, I make myself a wretch, and still must follow. This is the core image of the Stoic piece, the image of the dog and the cart. He taught this metaphor to his students on the porch during the day. Imagine a dog tied to a cart. The cart is driven by a driver you cannot see. The cart is moving forward. It never stops. The cart is fate. The cart is the rotation of the earth. The cart is time. The dog has 2 choices. Choice 1. The dog can fight. He can dig his claws into the dirt. He can bark. He can try to run backward. He can try to run sideways. But the cart is heavier than the dog. The rope is strong. The cart will drag him anyway. He will be pulled, choking and scrabbling, bruised and miserable, toward the destination. Choice 2. The dog can walk. He can look at the cart. He can realize it is moving. He can trot alongside it. If he walks at the same speed as the cart, the rope goes slack. There is no tension. He is free to look around. He is free to enjoy the scenery. He is free to sniff the air. He is still going where the cart is going. He has no choice in the destination, but he has a choice in the journey. Cleanthes chose to walk. He carried the water because that was the cart he was tied to. He was poor. He needed to eat. So he walked with the cart. And in doing so, he found dignity. There is a story about his poverty. The citizens of Athens became suspicious. They saw him teaching all day, but they never saw him buy food. They never saw him trade. They thought he must be a thief. They dragged him to the court, the Areopagus, the hill of judgment. "How do you live?" the magistrate asked. "You are strong and healthy, but you have no job." Cleanthes did not argue. He simply called his witnesses. He called the gardener of the public plot. "Yes," the gardener said, "he draws the water for me every night. He is stronger than a mule." He called the baker woman. "Yes," the baker said, "he crushes the grain for me with the heavy pestle. He works harder than any slave." The court was stunned. They realized that this man, the head of a great philosophical school, was spending his nights in hard labor, just to stay free. They were ashamed. They offered him 10 minae, a fortune in gold coins, as an apology. Zeno, who was still alive then, told him, "Refuse it." And Cleanthes refused. He went back to the well. He knew that comfort is a trap. Softness is a trap. If you get used to the soft bed, the hard bed becomes torture. But if you are used to the hard bed, you can sleep anywhere. He lived to be 99 years old. He was a mountain of a man, eroding slowly, but never cracking. When he died, he passed the lamp to the next man. And here, the story changes. We leave the physical labor of the water carrier. We enter the mental labor of the logician. We meet Chrysippus. If Zeno was the bricklayer and Cleanthes was the pillar, Chrysippus was the mortar that held it all together. He was a slight man, small, intense. He did not carry water buckets. He carried ink. He was the second founder. Without him, Stoicism would have been forgotten. He was a machine of writing. We are traveling to his study in Athens. It is a room buried in scrolls, piles of papyrus, stacks of parchment. The smell is of dust and dried glue. Chrysippus had a rule. He had to write 500 lines of logic every single day. 500 lines. If he didn't write them, he didn't sleep. Let us watch him work. It is a different kind of endurance. He sits at a low table. He holds a reed pen. He dips it into the black ink. Dip, write, dip, write. He is building the logic gate of Stoicism. He realized that if you want to control your emotions, you have to control your judgments. And to control your judgments, you need logic. He developed a system of propositional logic. It sounds dry. It sounds boring. And it is. That is the point. It is the boring structure that supports the piece. He wrote about the if-then statement. If it is day, it is light. It is day. Therefore, it is light. He wrote thousands of these chains. He was knitting a net of reason to catch the mind before it fell into error. He wrote over 700 books. Imagine the sound of that writing. 700 scrolls. Millions of words. Scritch, scritch, scritch. The friction of the reed on the rough paper. The smell of the vinegar used to preserve the ink. He worked so hard that his handwriting became illegible. Only he could read it. It was a private language of order. He taught his students to slow down their thinking. When something happens, when someone insults you, or a vase breaks, your mind rushes to a conclusion. This is bad. He is evil, Chrysippus said. Stop. Insert a pause. He called it assent, syncatathesis. Imagine your mind is a gatekeeper standing at the door of a fortress. An impression arrives. That man insulted me. The gatekeeper does not let it in. He holds up a hand. He asks, "Is this true? Is this objective? Does this actually hurt my character?" He examines the impression like a coin. He checks for counterfeit. "No," the gatekeeper says. "His insult is just noise. It is just air vibrating in his throat. It cannot hurt my soul unless I let it." The gatekeeper rejects the impression. The gate remains closed. The peace inside is undisturbed. This was the work of Chrysippus, to train the gatekeeper. It is tedious work. It requires constant vigilance. It is not as romantic as a shipwreck. It is not as heroic as carrying water in the moonlight. It is the quiet, dusty work of editing your own mind. Chrysippus wrote so much that he eventually died of laughter. It is a true story, or at least a legend. He saw a donkey eating figs. He told his slave to give the donkey some wine to wash them down. He laughed so hard at his own joke that his heart stopped. He died happy. He died light. With Chrysippus, the Greek phase of Stoicism ends. The structure is complete. Zeno built the walls. Cleanthes built the roof. Chrysippus locked the gate. The fortress is ready. Now it is ready to travel. It is ready to leave the philosophers and go to the soldiers. It is ready for Rome. But before we go to Rome, let us rest in the library of Chrysippus. The old man has gone. The scrolls are stacked high on the shelves. 700 rolls of wisdom. The room is silent. Dust motes dance in the shaft of light coming from the high window. The smell of the old paper is comforting. It smells of vanilla and almond, the scent of decaying lignin in the paper. You are sitting in the corner of this library. Outside, the wind is blowing through the columns of the stoa. But in here, the air is still. You look at the stacks of logic. You do not need to read them. You know what they say. They say that you are safe. They say that the world is a cart and you are the dog. You can fight the blanket. You can fight the pillow. You can wish you were asleep already. You can pull against the rope. Or you can walk with it. You can accept that you are awake right now. And in accepting it, the tension disappears. The rope goes slack. You are just trotting alongside the night. Imagine the bucket of Cleanthes, heavy with water. He tips it. The water flows out. Splosh. The bucket is empty. It is light. Your mind is the bucket. Tip it over. Let the thoughts flow out. Let the logic flow out. Let the history flow out. Empty, empty, empty. Now there is only the space, the ma, the silence between the ticks of the clock, the silence between the drops of water. The library is dark now. The scrolls are sleeping. You are safe in the house of reason. Rest. Sleep. Chapter 4. The letters in the night. The sun has set on the white limestone of Athens. The painted porch is empty. The water carrier Cleanthes has long since laid down his buckets and returned to the dust of the earth. The center of the world has shifted. The spirit of history has moved west, across the Adriatic Sea, to a peninsula shaped like a boot. It has settled in a city of 7 hills, a city of brick that is slowly turning into a city of marble. Rome. We are traveling forward in time. It is the 1st century AD. The Republic is dead. The Empire is alive. The atmosphere here is different. Athens was a city of light and air and argument. Rome is a city of weight. It is a city of stone, iron, and blood. It is crowded, noisy, and dangerous. It is the age of Nero. The emperor is young, volatile, and terrifying. To be close to him is to be close to a fire. You can be warmed, or you can be burned. In this chaotic world, we are looking for a place of silence. We walk away from the Palatine Hill, away from the screaming crowds of the Colosseum. We walk down the Appian Way, the road of the dead, lined with cypress trees and tombs. We turn up a winding path to a private villa. It is a large house, a mansion. Inside, there are mosaics on the floor depicting fish and birds. There are fountains bubbling in the courtyards. There are statues of bronze. This is the home of Lucius Annaeus Seneca. He is the richest man in Rome. He is the tutor to the emperor. He is a playwright, a statesman, and a power broker. But tonight, he is none of those things. Tonight, he is just a man sitting alone in a room, trying to make sense of the dark. We enter his study. It is a small room at the back of the villa, far away from the street. It is late. The oil lamps are burning low, casting long, flickering shadows against the frescoed walls. The smell in the room is distinct. It smells of expensive papyrus, cedarwood oil, used to protect books from moths, and the faint, medicinal scent of eucalyptus. Seneca is sitting at a wooden table. He is an old man. His hair is thin and white. His face is pale. He is wrapped in a heavy wool toga because he feels the cold easily. He suffers from asthma. He calls it practicing how to die. In the middle of the night, his breath leaves him. His chest tightens. He gasps for air that isn't there, but he does not panic. He uses his philosophy to watch the pain from a distance. Tonight, he is breathing easily. Tonight, he is writing. He picks up a reed pen, calamus. He dips it into an inkwell made of silver. He's writing a letter to his friend Lucilius. Lucilius is the procurator of Sicily, a man busy with the administration of the grain supply. Seneca writes to him not about politics, not about money, but about the soul. Let us listen to the scratching of the pen. Scritch, scritch, scritch. It is a dry, rhythmic sound, the friction of the reed on the fibers of the paper. He writes about time. This is Seneca's obsession. He looks out the window at the Roman night. He realizes that everyone around him is rushing. They are rushing to the Senate, rushing to the baths, rushing to the banquet. They say, "I have no time." Seneca writes, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He dips the pen again. Life is long if you know how to use it. He imagines time as a river. Most people stand on the bank and let the water flow past them. They are distracted. They are looking at the scenery, and suddenly the river is dry. But the Stoic cups his hands. He drinks the water. He tastes every drop. Seneca is practicing mindfulness. He stops writing for a moment. He looks at the flame of the lamp. It dances in a draught. He thinks about the noise of Rome. In one of his letters, he describes living above a bathhouse. He describes the sounds coming up through the floor. The grunt of the weightlifter swinging lead weights. The slap of the masseur's hand. The splash of the swimmer plunging into the pool. The thief being caught. The singer who likes to hear his own voice in the echo of the bath. It is a cacophony. Most men would be annoyed. They would shout. They would move. But Seneca uses the noise. He builds a wall inside his head. He forces his mind to retreat into itself. "I have forced my mind to concentrate," he writes. "Inside, there is no uproar." This is the core of the Roman Stoicism. It is not about escaping to a quiet forest. It is about finding the forest in the middle of the city, the inner citadel. The noise outside is just sound waves vibrating in the air. It has no meaning unless you give it meaning. If you decide it is annoying, it is annoying. If you decide it is just the sound of life, it is peaceful. Seneca returns to his letter. He writes about possessions. He looks around his room. He sees the gold, the silver, the citrus wood tables with ivory legs. He is surrounded by luxury. Critics call him a hypocrite. "How can you be a Stoic," they ask, "when you are richer than Crassus?" Seneca knows the danger. He knows that wealth is sticky. It clings to the soul. It makes you soft. So he practices poverty. He writes to Lucilius about his practice days. Once a month, the richest man in Rome changes his clothes. He takes off the soft white wool. He puts on a rough, scratchy tunic of goat hair. He tells his slaves to serve him no dinner. He eats only stale barley bread and drinks lukewarm water. He sleeps on a hard pallet on the floor. He does this for 3 days. Why? Is it punishment? No. It is an inoculation. It is a vaccine against fear. Most wealthy men in Rome are terrified of losing their money. They lie awake at night worrying about shipwrecks, about fires, about thieves. The fear of poverty ruins their enjoyment of the wealth. Seneca faces the fear. He invites the poverty in. He sits with it. And after 3 days of eating hard bread, he asks himself a question. Is this the condition that I feared? And the answer is, no. It is not so bad. I am still alive. I can still think. I can still write. The hunger is just a sensation. The hard floor is just physics. He realizes that his happiness does not depend on the ivory table. It depends on his mind. By practicing the loss, he frees himself to enjoy the gain. He holds his wealth loosely, like a handful of water. If it stays, good. If it flows away, good. He is ready for the shipwreck. The night wears on. The oil in the lamp burns down an inch. The shadows lengthen. Outside, the rain intensifies. It drums on the terracotta tiles of the roof. A soothing, steady rhythm. Seneca pauses. He rubs his chest. The damp air makes his lungs feel heavy. He thinks about death. For the Romans, death was always close. A fever, a war, a whim of the emperor. Seneca does not view death as a monster in the closet. He views it as a roommate. He writes, "We are dying every day." It sounds grim, but he means it peacefully. You are not going to die someday. You are dying now. The time you spent yesterday is dead. It is gone. The time you spent sleeping is dead. The person you were 10 years ago is dead. Death is not an event at the end of the road. It is the road itself. We are walking it step by step. If you accept this, if you realize that the sand in the hourglass is always falling, then you stop rushing. You stop worrying about the future. You inhabit the present. Seneca looks at his hand holding the pen. He looks at the grain of the wood on the table. He listens to the rain. He is fully here. This moment is enough. He dips the pen one last time. He wants to give Lucilius a final thought for the night. A gift to take to bed. He quotes Epicurus, a rival philosopher, because Seneca believes that truth belongs to everyone. The life of the fool is empty of gratitude and full of fears. Its course lies wholly toward the future. Don't be the fool, he implies. Be grateful for the bread. Be grateful for the roof. Be grateful for the breath. He signs the letter. Veil. Be strong. Or simply, goodbye. He sprinkles sand on the wet ink to dry it. Shh. The sound of the sand hitting the paper. He shakes the paper. The sand slides off. The words remain. He rolls up the scroll. He takes a piece of string and ties it. He takes a stick of red sealing wax. He holds it over the flame of the lamp. The wax melts. A drop of red liquid falls onto the knot. Plop. He presses his signet ring into the soft wax. The image of his face, or perhaps a lyre, is stamped into the seal. The letter is finished. It will go to Sicily in the morning. It might take weeks to arrive. But the wisdom inside it is timeless. Seneca stands up. He is stiff. The cold dampness of the stone floor has seeped into his bones. He walks to the window. He opens the shutter just a crack. He looks out at Rome. The city is sleeping now. The 7 hills are dark mounds against the gray sky. Somewhere out there, in the Golden House, Nero is awake. Nero is drinking. Nero is plotting. Seneca knows that. Eventually the soldiers will come. In a few years, a centurion will knock on this door. He will bring the order. The emperor commands you to open your veins. Seneca knows this is coming. He has rehearsed it 1,000 times in his mind. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. When the moment comes, he will not be surprised. He will not beg. He will welcome it as a final test of his philosophy. But that is not tonight. Tonight, there are no soldiers. Tonight, there is only the rain. He closes the shutter. He locks it. He blows out the lamp. Puff. The room plunges into darkness. The smell of the extinguished wick, the smoke of olive oil, drifts through the air. Seneca feels his way to his couch. He wraps the wool blanket around his shoulders. He lies down. He performs the final Stoic exercise of the day. The review. He replays the day in his mind. Did I lose my temper with the slave? Yes, I must do better. Did I eat too much at lunch? No. Good. Did I worry about the future? A little. He does not judge himself harshly. He is like a craftsman looking at a crooked line. He simply notes it so he can draw it straighter tomorrow. He forgives himself. He closes his eyes. He visualizes his mind as a fortress. He pulls up the drawbridge. He lowers the portcullis. The worries are left outside in the rain. The emperor is left outside. The wealth is left outside. Inside the citadel, there is just the man. Silent, empty, free. You are in the citadel with him. You are lying in your own room, centuries later. But the fortress is the same. You have locked the doors. You have turned off the lights. The world cannot touch you here. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be anything. You just need to be. Feel the darkness wrapping around you, like the heavy wool toga. Feel the gravity holding you to the earth. The river of time is flowing past the house. Let it flow. You are on the bank. You are watching it go. The letter is written. The seal is set. The day is done. Rest in the wisdom of the night. Rest in the inner citadel. Sleep. Chapter 5. The lamp of Epictetus. We leave the marble villa of Seneca. We leave the shadows of Nero's Rome and the heavy velvet curtains of the wealthy. We are traveling east again. We are crossing the Adriatic Sea, returning to the land of the Greeks. But we are not going to Athens. We are going to a small, dusty town on the coast of Epirus. Nicopolis, the city of victory. It is a transit town, a place where travelers stop on their way to somewhere else. It is noisy, bustling, and hot. But on the edge of the town, away from the port, there is a small school. It is not a grand academy like Plato's. It is a humble building. A room with dirt floors, whitewashed walls, and simple wooden benches. It is the year 95 AD. The man sitting at the front of the room is not a wealthy senator. He wears no purple stripe on his toga. He wears a rough woolen cloak, the uniform of the poor philosopher. He is an old man. He has a white beard, and he has a crutch. When he walks, he limps. It is a severe limp. One of his legs is twisted, useless. This is Epictetus. His name tells you everything you need to know. Epictetus is not a proper name. In Greek, Epictetos simply means acquired, or the property. He was a slave. He was born a slave in Hierapolis. He was brought to Rome in chains. He was sold to a master named Epaphroditus, who was himself a freed slave of the Emperor Nero. Epictetus spent his youth serving. He opened doors. He carried messages. He stood in the corner while powerful men ate. And yet, this slave became the greatest teacher of freedom in history. Tonight, we sit in his classroom. It is evening. The class is over. The students, young aristocrats sent from Rome to learn how to be men, have gone home. The room is quiet. The dust raised by their sandals is settling on the floor. Epictetus sits alone. He lights a lamp. It is a simple clay lamp, terracotta. It burns with a small, steady flame, fueled by olive oil. He looks at the flame. He thinks about the concept of control. This is the heart of his teaching, the dichotomy of control. Imagine him speaking to us now, in a voice that is raspy but kind, a voice that has seen the bottom of the world and survived. He says, some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. It sounds simple, but it is the key to all peace. What is up to us? Our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions. In a word, our mind. What is not up to us? Our body, our property, our reputation, our office. In a word, everything else. Epictetus looks at his crippled leg. He remembers how it happened. There are stories. Some say his master tortured him, twisting his leg in a machine to punish him. The story goes that Epictetus did not scream. He did not beg. He simply looked at his master and said calmly, "If you keep twisting, You will break it. The master kept twisting. The bone snapped. Epictetus did not cry. He looked at the leg and said, I told you that you would break it. He viewed his leg as an external. It was not him. It was just matter, clay, dust. The master could break the bone, but he could not break the will. He could destroy the leg, but he could not touch the mind. In that moment, the slave was free, and the master was the slave, a slave to his own anger and cruelty. Epictetus sits in the fading light of the classroom. He rubs his knee. He teaches that we are like actors on a stage. The playwright, God or nature, hands you a script. You, the playwright says, will play the role of a cripple. You will play the role of a king. You will play the role of a beggar. We cannot choose the role. We cannot rewrite the script. If we try to change the script, if the cripple tries to be the king, we will be miserable. We will be anxious. We will spend our lives fighting reality. But if we accept the role, if we say, I will be the best cripple the world has ever seen, I will play this part with dignity and grace, then we are free. We are invincible. Epictetus looks around his simple room. He owns almost nothing. A sleeping mat, a few cooking pots, the clothes on his back. He tells a story about his lamp. Years ago, when he first started teaching, he had an iron lamp. It was a good lamp, heavy, solid. It hung by the statue of his household gods. One night, he heard a noise. A thief had entered his house. Epictetus did not get up. He did not fight. He listened. He heard the thief take the iron lamp and run away. The next morning, Epictetus looked at the empty spot where the lamp had been. Most men would be angry. They would curse the thief. They would worry about the cost. They would feel violated. Epictetus simply smiled. He said to himself, the thief was moved by a desire for an iron lamp. He paid a high price for it. For a lamp, he became a thief. For a lamp, he became untrustworthy. For a lamp, he lost his character. And then he said, tomorrow I will get a clay lamp. A clay lamp is enough. And so he bought the cheap terracotta lamp that sits on his desk now. He looks at it. It gives light just as well as the iron one. He realized that you can only lose what you have. If you have nothing, you can lose nothing. Wealth, he says, consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. If you want a marble palace, you are a slave to the builders. If you want a high office, you are a slave to the voters. If you want praise, you are a slave to the opinions of strangers. But if you want only a clay lamp and a clear mind, you are free. The Emperor Hadrian came to visit Epictetus once. The most powerful man in the world traveled to this dusty classroom to listen to the former slave. Hadrian had armies. He had gold. He had the power of life and death. But Epictetus had something Hadrian wanted. He had ataraxia, unshakability. Imagine the rain starting to fall outside the classroom in Nicopolis. It is a warm, Mediterranean rain. It hits the dry dust of the street. Patter, patter, patter. Epictetus listens to the rain. He uses the metaphor of the open door. He tells his students, life is like a festival. It is loud. It is crowded. Sometimes it is fun. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. The sun burns you. The crowd pushes you. But, he says, remember, the door is always open. If the room gets too smoky, if the pain becomes unbearable, if the dignity of life is lost, you can leave. You can depart. He did not mean this in a dark way. He meant it as a source of courage. You are not trapped in life. You are here by choice. And because you can leave at any time, you have no reason to complain while you are here. If you stay at the party, Don't grumble about the noise. Enjoy the music. If you don't like the music, leave, but don't stay and complain. This thought comforted him. It meant that every moment of life was voluntary. He sits in the silence. The oil in the clay lamp is burning down. He thinks about the concept of sympatheia. Sympathy, connection. Even though he lived a solitary life, even though he had no family, he felt connected to the whole world. I am a citizen of the world, he said. Cosmopolites. He believed that all humans carry a spark of the divine fire. The slave and the emperor are brothers. They are made of the same stuff. When you look at a stranger, do not look at their clothes. Do not look at their rank. Look at their reason. If they are angry, it is because they are mistaken about what is good. They think revenge is good. They are blind. Do not hate them. Pity them. When someone treats you ill, Epictetus said, say to yourself, it seemed right to him. He is doing what he thinks is best, even if he is wrong. This removes the anger. It turns the enemy into a confused friend. The flame of the lamp flickers. A moth circles the light. Epictetus watches the moth. It is drawn to the fire. It does not know the fire will burn it. We are like the moth. We are drawn to the shiny things, fame, pleasure, power. We fly into them, and we get burned. The Stoic stays back. The Stoic enjoys the light, but respects the heat. The night deepens. The sounds of the town of Nicopolis fade away. The tavern doors are closed. The sailors have returned to their ships. Epictetus prepares for sleep. He does not have a soft bed. He sleeps on a straw pallet in the corner of the classroom. He takes off his cloak. He lays his crutch on the floor. He blows out the clay lamp. Puff. The room is pitch black, but he is not afraid of the dark. What is darkness? He asks. It is just the absence of photons. It is natural. Why should I fear what is natural? He lies down. He performs the mental exercise of the view from above, just as Seneca did. But Epictetus goes further. He imagines dissolving. He imagines his body returning to the elements. The water in his blood returns to the sea. The heat in his body returns to the fire. The air in his lungs returns to the wind. The earth of his bones returns to the soil. He is not disappearing. He is being redistributed. There is no Hades, he thinks. There is no underworld. There is only the recycling of the universe. He feels a great peace in this. He is part of a giant machine that never breaks. He is a gear in the watch of God. And for now, the gear is at rest. You are in the classroom with him. You are lying on the floor of the simple house in Greece. The air is warm and dry. The smell of the extinguished lamp hangs in the air. Olive oil and burnt wick. You feel the hardness of the floor, but it feels supportive. It feels solid. You have nothing to lose. If a thief came tonight and took your phone, or your money, or your car, you would still be you. Your mind is yours. Your ability to choose how you react is yours. No one can steal that. The fortress is locked. The bridge is up. You are the master of the Inner Citadel. Let the words of the crippled slave wash over you. Make the best of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Take the rain as it happens. Take the night as it happens. Take the sleep as it happens. Do not fight the pillow. Do not fight the blankets. Just accept. Like the dog walking beside the cart. The cart is moving toward sleep. Walk with it. The rope is slack. The path is smooth. The clay lamp is waiting for the morning. But for now there is only the dark. Friendly darkness. Quiet darkness. Rest in the simplicity. Rest in the freedom. Sleep. Chapter 6. The view from above. The clay lamp of Epictetus has gone cold. The letters of Seneca are sealed and sent. We have visited the shipwreck, the water well, the painted porch, and the dusty classroom. But now, we must leave the earth entirely. Tonight, we are going to perform the most powerful exercise in the Stoic arsenal. It is a technique practiced by every great philosopher of antiquity, from Plato to Marcus Aurelius. It is called the view from above. It is a journey of perspective. It is the cure for anxiety. When we are stuck on the ground, our problems look massive. A lost coin looks like a tragedy. An insult looks like a war. A sleepless night looks like a catastrophe. This is because we are zoomed in too close. We are looking at life through a microscope. The Stoic remedy is to zoom out, to look at life through a telescope. So, let us begin the ascent. Imagine you are back in the Roman Empire. It is a clear night. The rain has stopped. The clouds have parted, revealing a sky thick with stars. You are standing on a hill outside the city of Rome, the Palatine Hill. You can smell the pine trees. You can feel the cool breeze on your face. Now, close your eyes in the dream. Imagine your consciousness detaching from your body. It is light. It is weightless. It floats upward like a spark rising from a fire. You drift up. You pass the roof of the temple. You pass the tops of the cypress trees. You look down. You see yourself standing on the hill. You look very small. A tiny figure wrapped in a cloak. You see the city of Rome. From here, it looks like a model. The Colosseum is just a stone ring. The Tiber River is a silver thread winding through the dark valley. You float higher. You reach the clouds. You pass through them. They are wet and cold, like mist. You emerge on the other side, into the pure silence of the upper atmosphere. You look down again. Rome has disappeared. It is just a smudge of light on the landscape. You see the shape of Italy, a boot kicking into the sea. You see the Mediterranean. To the Romans, this was Mare Nostrum, our sea. It seemed endless. It took weeks to cross. But from here, it looks like a pond, a small puddle of water enclosed by land. You see the ships sailing on it. They look like specks of dust. The storms that terrified Zeno are just tiny swirls of gray cloud. You float higher still. You enter the realm of the stars. The silence here is absolute. There is no wind. There is no sound. There is only the vast, deep blackness of space, studded with points of diamond light. You look back at the earth. It is a ball, a marble. It glows softly in the dark, blue and white and brown. Now, look for the borders. Look for the line that separates Rome from the barbarians. Look for the line that separates Greece from Persia. They are not there. From this height, there are no countries. There are no kings. There are no wars. When armies march, they look like lines of ants fighting over a crumb of bread. When emperors shout, their voices do not reach this high. The Stoic looks at this and realizes a profound truth. It is all small. Everything that worries you, the bills, the arguments, the deadlines, it is all happening on a tiny speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam. It is not that your life doesn't matter. It matters to you, but it does not matter to the cosmos. And this is a relief. It means you are not carrying the weight of the universe. The universe is carrying itself. The planets are orbiting. Jupiter is spinning. Saturn is watching with its rings. They have been doing this for billions of years, and they will do it for billions more. They do not care if you sleep or if you wake. They do not care if you are rich or poor. They just turn. Imagine the sound of the spheres. The ancient Greeks believed that the planets made a sound as they moved, a low, resonant hum, a harmony of gravity. Let that sound vibrate through you. It is the sound of a machine that never breaks. Now, let us add the dimension of time. From this height, you can see not just space, but time. Look down at the earth again. Watch the generations pass. They pass like the leaves on a tree. In the spring, the leaves grow. They are green and fresh. In the summer, they flourish. In the autumn, they turn brown. They wither. In the winter, they fall. They return to the soil. And the tree remains. Human lives are like the leaves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time." Think of the famous men of the past, Alexander the Great, Caesar, Pompey. Where are they now? They are dust. Their names are just sounds we make with our mouths. Their worries, their anger, their ambitions, all gone. Evaporated like the morning dew. Does this make you sad? It shouldn't. It should make you free. If Caesar is dust, then your embarrassing moment yesterday is definitely dust. If the Roman Empire fell, then your bad day at work will definitely be forgotten. Nothing lasts. Panta re. Everything flows. You are watching the river of time from the bank. You are not drowning in it. You drift in the silence of space. You feel a sense of sympatheia, connection. From up here, you can see that the whole earth is one organism. The clouds feed the rain feeds the rivers feed the sea. You are not separate from it. You are part of the system. You are made of the same atoms as the stars. You are breathing the same air as the trees. There is no us and them. There is only all. This view dissolves anger. How can you be angry at your neighbor when you see how small you both are? It would be like two ants arguing on a sinking leaf. It is absurd. The only logical response is kindness. The only logical response is to help each other survive the voyage. You float there for a long time. You bathe in the indifference of the stars. It is a cold bath, but it cleanses the ego. It washes away the self-importance. You realize that you are just a temporary arrangement of matter, a brief spark of consciousness in the dark. And because you are temporary, you are precious. Because this moment is short, it is beautiful. Now, it is time to return. You begin to descend. You float down past the moon. You float down toward the blue marble. It gets bigger. It fills your vision. You see the clouds again. You pass through them. You see the Mediterranean. You see Italy. You see Rome. You see the hill where you started. You drift down into your own body. You settle back into your skin. You feel the weight of gravity returning. But you are different now. You have seen the truth. You have seen the map. You open your eyes in the dark room. You are lying in your bed. The rain is still falling against the window. The room is the same size. The furniture is the same. But the problems feel smaller. The anxiety has shrunk. You have brought the silence of space down with you. You realize that your bedroom is a sanctuary. It is a tiny, warm cave on the surface of a spinning rock. You are safe here. The universe is huge and cold and empty. But you are warm. You are covered. You are held. You lay your head on the pillow. You think of the earth spinning, east to west, 1,000 miles per hour. You don't have to hold on. Gravity holds you. You think of the sun, burning on the other side of the world, waiting to rise. It will come. You don't have to make it come. You can resign as the general of the universe. You can just be a passenger. Let the feeling of smallness comfort you. To be small is to be hidden. To be small is to be safe. You are a speck of dust, but you are a conscious speck of dust, and you are a tired speck of dust. Close your eyes. Look at the darkness behind your eyelids. It is the same darkness as the space between the stars. It is infinite. Drift into it. Float in the void. There are no borders here. There are no clocks. There are no demands. Just the slow, steady orbit of sleep. Rest in the vastness. Sleep. Chapter 7. The tent on the Danube. We have floated among the stars. We have looked down at the earth from the cosmic perspective. We have seen the smallness of empires and the silence of space. But now, we must come back down. Gravity pulls us back to the surface. We are returning to the ground, but not to the warm, olive-scented air of Athens or the marble halls of Rome. We are traveling to the edge of the world, the limes, the frontier. It is the year 170 AD. We are in the north, the wild forests of Germania. The air here is freezing. It smells of pine resin, wood smoke, and wet mud. We are standing on the banks of the Danube River. The great river is swollen with rain. It flows dark and fast, separating the order of the empire from the chaos of the wilderness beyond. On the Roman side of the river, there is a city of canvas and leather, the castrum, the legionary camp. The Roman army does not sleep in disorder. Even here, at the end of the earth, they bring the geometry of Rome with them. The camp is a perfect square. It is laid out in a grid. Rows of tents perfectly aligned. Streets running north-south and east-west. It is the middle of the night. The rain is falling heavily. This is not the soft rain of the Mediterranean. This is a hard, cold, northern rain. It drums against the tight leather of the tents. Thrum, thrum, thrum. The camp is silent. 20,000 soldiers are sleeping. They are wrapped in their red wool cloaks, huddled together for warmth. The only movement is the slow pace of the sentries on the earthen walls, their breath steaming in the lantern light. In the exact center of the camp stands the praetorium, the commander's tent. It is larger than the others. It is made of heavy canvas, dyed purple. A guard stands at the entrance, motionless as a statue. Inside this tent sits the most powerful man in the world, Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, the master of the legions, the Pontifex Maximus. But if you looked at him now, you would not see a god. You would see a tired, gray-haired man sitting at a folding camp table. He is not sleeping. He suffers from insomnia. The burden of the empire is heavy. He is old. His body aches from the dampness. He has a stomach ulcer that gives him constant pain. He is surrounded by enemies. And yet, his face is calm. He has lit a single lamp. The flame flickers in the draft that slips through the tent flaps. He opens a book. It is not a scroll of official decrees. It is not a battle plan. It is a private notebook, a stack of papyrus sheets sewn together. He picks up his pen. He begins to write. He does not write in Latin, the language of the army. He writes in Greek, the language of philosophy, the language of Zeno and Epictetus. He is writing a book that he never intended for anyone to read. The title on the front is simply Ta eis Houghton, to himself. We know it today as the Meditations. Imagine the scene. The rain hammering on the canvas roof above his head. The wind shaking the tent poles. The mud outside. And inside, a man having a conversation with his own soul. He writes to calm himself down. He writes to organize his mind. He writes to reinforce the walls of his inner citadel. He dips the pen. When you wake up in the morning, he writes, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He pauses. He looks at the flame. This sounds cynical, but it is not. It is preparation. He continues, they are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil. and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. He is reminding himself not to be angry. The generals are arguing. The barbarians are attacking. The Senate in Rome is plotting. But Marcus refuses to let their chaos enter his tent. He practices the discipline of assent. He tells himself, external things are not the problem. It is your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. He imagines his mind as a piece of marble. The world throws mud at it, but the marble does not change. You just wipe the mud off. He writes about retreat. Men seek retreats for themselves, he writes. They want houses in the country, by the sea and the mountains. But this is altogether unphilosophical when it is possible for you at any moment to find a retreat within yourself. Into yourself. This is the ultimate sleep technique. You do not need to go to a spa. You do not need to go to an island. You just need to close your eyes. Marcus does this. He puts down the pen. He sits back in his camp chair. He closes his eyes. He visualizes his mind as a room deep inside the fortress of his body. Outside the room, there is noise. There is the clatter of armor. There is the pain in his stomach. But he steps into the room and closes the door. Silence. Here, in this inner space, he is not the emperor. He is just a spark of the Logos. He is free. He breathes in, out. He realizes that the present moment is the only thing he owns. The past is dead. It is a foreign country. He cannot change it. The future is uncertain. It may never happen. But the now is his. He writes, each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already, or is impossible to see. This thought comforts him. If you only have to live this 1 second, right now, it is bearable. Anyone can endure 1 second. It is when we try to carry the weight of the last 10 years and the fear of the next 10 years all at once that we break. Drop the past. Drop the future. Hold only the now. The rain continues to fall. It is a steady washing sound. Marcus looks at the water dripping from a seam in the tent. Drip, drip, drip. He thinks about the nature of change. He is obsessed with change. He sees that the universe is a process of constant transformation. Is any man afraid of change? Why? What can take place without change? Can you take a hot bath and leave the firewood as it was? Can you be nourished unless the food undergoes a change? He realizes that sleep is a change. You change from the waking state to the sleeping state. You surrender your consciousness. Many people fear sleep because it feels like a loss of control. It feels like a little death. But Marcus says, nature demands it. Pass through this brief patch of time in harmony with nature, and come to your rest with good grace, as an olive falls when it is ripe, blessing the earth that bore it, and grateful to the tree that gave it growth. Imagine the olive falling. It does not scream. It does not cling to the branch. It just lets go. It falls into the soft grass. It rests. Marcus wants to be like the olive. He is the most powerful man on earth, yet he envies the simplicity of the fruit. He writes about the court, the purple robes, the gold, the incense. He strips them of their glamour. He uses a Stoic technique called objective description. He looks at his purple robe. This is just sheep's wool dyed with the blood of a shellfish. He looks at his wine. This is just fermented grape juice. He looks at his sword. This is just a piece of iron. When you strip away the story, the object becomes simple. It loses its power to intimidate you. He looks at the night. This is just the absence of the sun. It is the rotation of the earth. Why fear the dark? It is just physics. He writes until the candle burns low. The wax pools on the table. His hand is tired. The cold is seeping through his cloak. He closes the book. He ties it with a leather strap. He stands up. He walks to the opening of the tent. He pushes the heavy canvas flap aside. He looks out. The camp is a grid of shadows. The rain is slashing down through the beams of the watchfires. He sees a sentry walking his beat. The soldier is soaked, miserable, cold. Marcus feels a surge of sympatheia. He and the soldier are the same. They are both parts of the whole. They are both doing their duty. The soldier's duty is to walk the wall. The emperor's duty is to think, to rule, to accept. He nods to the darkness. He lets the flap fall back. He is inside again. The tent is a small space, a fragile shelter of cloth against the northern winter, but it is enough. He walks to his cot. It is a simple military bed, a frame of wood, a mattress of straw covered with furs. He takes off the purple cloak. He folds it. He takes off his sandals. He lies down. He pulls the furs up to his chin. He listens to the rain drumming on the canvas inches above his face. Thrum. 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 It is a protective sound. It means the world is wet and difficult outside, but dry inside. He performs the final review. He scans his body. He finds the tension. He finds the worry about the barbarians. He visualizes it as a stone. He drops the stone. He finds the worry about his health. He drops the stone. He finds the worry about his legacy. He drops the stone. Soon, you will have forgotten the world, he whispers to himself. And soon, the world will have forgotten you. This is the ultimate peace, to be forgotten, to be dust, to return to the elements. The wind shakes the tent, the structure creaks, but it holds. The inner citadel holds. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, closes his eyes. He is not an emperor now. He is just a man, breathing in the dark. He has adjusted his sails. He has accepted the wind. He drifts on the river of the night. You are in the tent with him. You hear the rain on the canvas. You feel the warmth of the furs. You are safe in the camp. The legions are guarding the walls. The emperor is guarding the mind. There is nothing for you to do. Your duty for today is done. Your only job now is to be like the olive. Let go of the branch. Fall gently. Land softly. Rest. Sleep. Chapter 8. The River of Time. The rain has stopped drumming on the canvas of the tent. The wind has died down. The camp of the Roman legion on the banks of the Danube is quiet, save for the occasional stamp of a horse or the shifting of a sentry's armor. Marcus Aurelius is still awake. Or perhaps he has woken up again, stirred by the pain in his stomach or the burden of his thoughts. He steps out of the praetorium. He walks past the sleeping guards. He walks to the edge of the camp, to the earthen rampart that overlooks the river. He looks down. Below him, the Danube flows. It is massive, dark, and swollen with the winter rains. It moves with a terrifying speed, swirling around the roots of trees, carrying logs and ice floes toward the Black Sea. It is a force of nature that cannot be stopped. Marcus leans against the wooden palisade. He watches the water, and he sees in it the perfect metaphor for existence. In his journal, he writes, "Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. Let us stand there with him and watch the river. It is a meditation on flow. Everything is flowing. Nothing stands still." Marcus observes a log floating by. It is here. He blinks. It is gone. Another log comes into view. It is here. It is gone. This is the nature of reality. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. Most people fight this current. They try to cling to the bank. They try to hold onto the log. They scream when the log floats away. They want things to stay exactly as they are. They want their youth to stay. They want their children to stay small. They want their summer vacation to last forever. But the Stoic knows that this desire is against the laws of physics. It is like demanding that the river stop flowing. It is impossible. And to desire the impossible is to choose misery. Marcus chooses peace. He chooses to let go of the bank. He thinks about history. He looks back at the history of Rome. He imagines the courts of the emperors who came before him. He thinks of the court of Augustus, the first emperor. Visualize it. The marble halls, the beautiful women in silk, the powerful generals in armor, the poets, the spies, the schemers. They were all so busy. They were so full of anxiety. They worried about who was in favor, who was out of favor, who would get the promotion, who would get the estate. Where are they now? Marcus answers his own question. They are nowhere, or they are nobody. They are dust. Their names are forgotten, or if their names are remembered, they are just sounds. Augustus, Tiberius. They are just stories we tell. The physical reality of their lives, the sweat, the fear, the laughter, has evaporated. He thinks of the court of Hadrian, the court of Antoninus, gone, all gone. The stage is the same, but the actors have changed. Marcus realizes that his own court, the people sleeping in the tents behind him, will be gone soon, too. The general worrying about his pension, the soldier worrying about his boots, the cook worrying about the grain supply, and the emperor worrying about the barbarians. In 100 years, this camp will be a grassy field. The tents will be rotted. The iron armor will be rust. The bones will be dust. Does this make him despair? No. It gives him perspective. If everything is temporary, then his problems are temporary. The war he is fighting feels like the most important thing in the world right now. But the river says, this too shall pass. The pain in his stomach feels permanent, but the river says, this too shall pass. The insults of his enemies feel sharp, but the river says, they will be silent soon. He realizes that he is just a tiny figure standing on the bank of eternity. He is here for a brief moment to do his job, and then he will step aside for the next person. He writes, look at the past, empire succeeding empire, and from that, extrapolate the future. The same thing. Exactly. So it makes no difference whether you watch the same play for 100 years or for 3. This is the boredom of wisdom. Once you understand the pattern, you stop being surprised. You stop being shocked. War happens. Peace happens. Plague happens. Recovery happens. It is the same rhythm, playing over and over again. Marcus looks at the water swirling in an eddy. It turns round and round before rejoining the main current. He thinks about the concept of the present moment. We often feel like we are losing time. We feel like we are losing our life as we get older. But Marcus argues, you cannot lose the past because you don't have it anymore. You cannot lose the future because you don't have it yet. You can only lose the present. This thin knife edge of now, and everyone loses the same amount. When a young man dies and when an old man dies, they both lose exactly the same thing, the present moment. The old man doesn't lose more because he has more past. The past is gone. This thought levels the playing field. It makes every moment complete in itself. If you live this moment well, if you stand by the river and breathe the cold air and feel the gratitude for being alive, then your life is complete. You don't need another 100 years to make it better. A circle is a circle, whether it is the size of a ring or the size of a stadium. It is geometrically perfect. Make this moment a perfect circle. The mist is rising from the river now. It curls around the watchtowers. Marcus turns his thoughts to the ultimate flow, death. He has seen death everywhere. He is a warrior king. He has seen the plague devastate Rome. He has buried his own children. Most men run from death. They refuse to speak its name. But Marcus stares at it. He dissects it. He writes, "What is death? It is nothing more than a function of nature. And if anyone is frightened of a function of nature, he is a mere child." He compares it to other natural processes. It is like the ripening of corn. It is like the falling of a leaf. It is like the heat of fire turning to smoke. It is metamorphosis. He uses a beautiful image, the olive. Imagine an olive hanging on a tree. It is green, it grows, it turns black and ripe. It is full of oil. Eventually the stem dries, the olive falls, it drops into the earth. Does the olive scream? Does it say, "This is unfair. I wanted to hang on the branch forever"? No. It falls with grace. Marcus writes, "Pass through this brief patch of time in harmony with nature, and come to your rest with good grace, as an olive falls when it is ripe, blessing the earth that bore it, and grateful to the tree that gave it growth." Blessing the earth that bore it. This is the Stoic gratitude. You were given a turn. You were given a body. You were given a mind. You were allowed to see the sun, to smell the rain, to touch the stone. It was a gift. And now, the gift is being returned. Why be angry? You don't own the gift. You were just borrowing it. Marcus looks at his hands. They are wrinkled. The joints are stiff. He accepts the decay. It is just the river eroding the bank. He turns away from the Danube. The sound of the water follows him. He walks back through the muddy streets of the camp. He passes the tents of the soldiers. He hears them snoring. He hears them murmuring in their sleep. They are all drifting on the same river, the general and the private. They are all heading to the same ocean. He returns to his tent. The guard salutes. He goes inside. The lamp has burned out. The tent is dark. He does not light it again. He knows the way to his bed in the dark. He sits on the edge of the cot. He takes off his sandals. He places them side by side. He thinks about the concept of rest. The universe works in cycles. Activity and rest. Waking and sleeping. The sun rises and sets. The tides come in and go out. The heart contracts and expands. If you try to stay awake forever, you are fighting the universe. You are trying to break the cycle. To sleep is to align yourself with the Logos. It is an act of submission to the natural order. Marcus lies down. He pulls the furs over him. He feels the fatigue in his bones. He welcomes it. He visualizes the river one last time. But he is not standing on the bank anymore. He is in the water. He is floating on his back. The water is cool and buoyant. It supports him. He is not swimming. He is not struggling. He is not trying to go upstream back to his youth. He is not trying to swim faster to the future. He is just floating. The current carries him. He looks up at the stars. They are drifting too. The whole cosmos is a river of light. He feels the tension leaving his muscles. The current is taking it. The river takes his worries about the war. Float away. The river takes his pain. Float away. The river takes his identity as emperor. Float away. He is just a man. He is just a part of nature. He is a drop of water returning to the sea. The sound of the real river outside the tent merges with the sound of the river in his mind. A low, steady rushing sound. Whoosh, hush, whoosh, hush. It is the sound of time passing, but it is not scary anymore. It is comforting. It means the world is working. It means the machinery of the universe is humming. You are safe in the current. You don't have to steer. You don't have to row. Gravity is the captain. Nature is the navigator. You are the passenger. Close your eyes. Feel the flow. Drift past the banks of the day. Drift past the noise of the world into the wide, dark ocean of sleep. Rest. Rest in the river. Sleep. Chapter 9. The Inner Citadel. The journal is closed. The leather strap is tied. The words to himself are hidden away in the darkness of the tent. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, sits for a moment longer in the camp chair. The lamp has flickered out, its oil exhausted. The only light comes from the embers of the charcoal brazier, casting a faint, dying red glow on the canvas walls. The rain has softened. It is no longer a drumming. It is a whisper. A mist has settled over the Danube, wrapping the legions, the horses, and the standards in a blanket of white silence. We have reached the end of the journey. We have traveled from the sun-drenched porch of Athens to the dark forests of Germania. We have carried water with Cleanthes and written logic with Chrysippus. We have practiced poverty with Seneca and lit the lamp with Epictetus. Now, we arrive at the final destination, the destination that all Stoics seek, the Inner Citadel. Marcus stands up. His joints crack softly in the cold air. He walks to the center of the tent. He begins to unbuckle his armor. This is a ritual of shedding. He removes the larica, the breastplate. It is made of bronze and leather, molded to the shape of a muscular torso. It is heavy. It is designed to deflect arrows and spears. He places it on the rack. Clank. He feels a lightness in his chest. The physical weight is gone. But the Stoic knows that the physical armor is the least important protection. A bronze breastplate can stop a sword, but it cannot stop an insult. It cannot stop grief. It cannot stop fear. For those enemies, you need a different kind of armor. You need a fortress built of thought. Marcus wrote about this in the book he just closed. The mind, he wrote, is a citadel. There is no stronger place a man can retreat to, where he is safe and invincible. Let us visualize this citadel. It is not built of brick. It is not built of wood. It is built of reason. Imagine building it in your own mind right now. Lay the foundation. It is deep. It goes down to the bedrock of reality. It accepts things exactly as they are. It does not wish for the ground to be softer. It accepts the stone. Build the walls. They are high. They are smooth. They are made of logic. When the world throws a problem at you, a loud noise, a rude person, a lost wallet, it hits the wall. It tries to scale the wall, but the wall is too high. The problem slides off. It falls into the moat. The problem remains outside. You remain inside. Marcus takes off his sandals. He stands barefoot on the rug. He thinks about the concept of the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty. This is the king inside the citadel. Your body is not the king. Your body gets hungry, tired, and sick. It is a servant. Your emotions are not the king. They are messengers, running in with panic and excitement. The barbarians are coming. The treasury is empty, but the ruling faculty sits on the throne in the center of the fortress. It listens to the messengers. It nods. "Thank you for the report," it says, "but I will not panic. I will decide what to do." This part of you, the observer, cannot be hurt. Fire cannot burn it. Steel cannot cut it. Words cannot bruise it. It is untouchable. Marcus walks to his bed. It is a simple cot, narrow and austere. He does not sleep in luxury here on the frontier. He sleeps like a soldier. He lies down. He pulls the heavy bearskin furs up to his chin. The fur is rough, but warm. It smells of the wild. He closes his eyes. He retreats into the citadel. He pulls up the drawbridge. He hears the heavy chains rattling as the bridge rises. Clank, clank, thud. The connection to the outside world is severed. The war is on the other side of the moat. The politics of Rome are on the other side of the moat. The pain in his stomach is on the other side of the moat. He is alone in the tower. It is quiet here. There is a library in the tower. There is a fire. There is peace. He reviews the day one last time, not to judge, but to clean. He imagines sweeping the floor of the citadel. He sweeps away the annoyance he felt at the general. Sweep. He sweeps away the worry about the grain supply. Sweep. He sweeps away the fear of death. Sweep. The floor is clean. The mind is empty. He is ready for the little death of sleep. And now the timeline dissolves. The tent on the Danube fades into the mist. The Roman camp disappears into the earth. The empire falls and rises and falls again. We are back in the present. We are back in your room. You are the emperor now. This room is your tent. This bed is your sanctuary. You have fought your own battles today. You have dealt with your own barbarians, the traffic, the emails, the demands, the noise. But the battle is over. The sun has set. You have retreated to the safety of the night. Look at the walls of your room. They are solid. They keep the wind out. They keep the rain out. But look at the walls of your mind. Construct the inner citadel. Visualize the stones. Gray, heavy, immovable stones. Stack them up around your bed. Build a wall between you and tomorrow. Tomorrow cannot get in. It has no key. It has to wait until the sun rises. Build a wall between you and yesterday. Yesterday is gone. It is a ghost outside the gate. It cannot hurt you. You are in the center. The keep. It is warm here. It is lit by a soft golden light. You are safe. Feel the physical sensation of safety. It starts in the feet. Your feet have carried you all day. They have walked the pavement. They have stood in line. Now they are free. They are unburdened. Imagine the armor being taken off your legs, the tension unbuckling. Your legs are heavy. They sink into the mattress. They are protected by the blankets. Move to your hands. Your hands have grasped steering wheels, phones, tools, pens. They have been clenched. Open them. Let them lie flat. They are empty. They are not holding a sword. They are not holding a shield. There is nothing to defend against. In the citadel, there is no danger. Move to your chest. Take a deep breath. In. Expand the rib cage. Out. Let it fall. The breath is the wind moving through the courtyard of the fortress. It is clean. It is rhythmic. Move to your face. This is where we wear our masks. The mask of the worker. The mask of the parent. The mask of the polite stranger. Take the mask off. Let the muscles around your eyes relax. Let the jaw unhinge slightly. Let the tongue rest on the floor of the mouth. Behind your eyes, in the dark space of your skull, sits the hegemonicon, the ruling faculty. It is tired. It wants to rest. Tell it. You can stand down. The watch is over. Imagine the sentry on the wall of your mind. He lowers his spear. He leans against the battlement. He looks out at the stars. All is well, he says. The gates are held. The night is quiet. You drift deeper into the center of the fortress. You find a room deep underground, a vault. It is silent here. No sound from the street can reach this deep. There is a bed in the vault. It is made of soft clouds. You lie down in it. You are protected by layers of stone, layers of logic, layers of time. You are the seed inside the shell. You are the spark inside the flint. You are potential energy, resting. The rain continues to fall outside the window. It is a gentle, washing sound. It washes the walls of the citadel. It cleans the stone. It creates a barrier of sound, a white noise that wraps around the house. You are an island in the rain. Let the philosophy of the Stoics cover you like a heavy quilt. Zeno taught you to flow with the river. Cleanthes taught you to accept the weight. Seneca taught you to practice the night. Epictetus taught you to light the lamp. Marcus taught you to build the wall. You have the tools. You have the wisdom. You know that nothing can harm you if you do not let it. And right now, you are letting nothing in. You are sovereign. The world spins, the stars turn, the galaxy spirals. But the center point, the axis, is still. You are the axis. You are the stillness. There is no past. There is no future. There is only this soft, dark, warm now. Sink into it. Let the gravity pull you down into the bedrock. Heavier, softer, deeper. The fortress is secure. The emperor is sleeping. The mind is clear. Rest in the inner citadel. Rest in the strength of your own soul. Sleep.